Alright, we got lucky. We saved the code from 4.5. We skipped 4.6, so we don't even need the code from 4.5. But we had it in case we did. Um, at this point, we've got 3 different files that we're having to deal with. 3 different files. And it wants us to work with the matrix file. So that's this one. And that matrix file is going to extend the grid class. So in object-oriented programming, if we looked at what we did here in grid, and I noted this in the lecture, in grid we actually row by row used the array class. In the matrix one, we're going to have to use the grid class. Same concept. All right. So let's jump over to the matrix class and see what they gave us and see what is it that we're going to have to do. How bad is it going to be? And we've got some coding we're going to have to do. We definitely do that. So define the matrix class and extend the grid class. I don't have a matrix class yet. So let's start out. Give us, they say, write our code here. All right. Let's start right there. From grid, import grid. I can't use grid unless I bring it in. So, oh, that's capital G. There. It's in here. See, it's a big G. Little g is the pi, big G is the class. What do we got left? So class matrix. And it's going to receive grid. And this is going to represent the matrix. I like the way they worded that. It represents a matrix. So let's think about what we had here. We had a init. I need an init. It says we need an add, a sub, multiplier. So let's go look at our init here. You know what? I'm going to take that. And I want to paste that in here. Essentially, it's the same concept of what we're doing. I've got my init. It receives self, rows, columns, and a default fill value. I don't want none. For this one, I'm going to give it a default value of 0. And we'll come down in it. I'm going to use that grid init. And you know what? Just gonna paste in what I already had. Now, there is no fill value equals none. I want to pass each of these things over to that constructor. So I'm extending grid into matrix. The matrix is going to essentially be built off of the grid. Now I don't need that colon at the end. So we've got our class. Get a little space here. Come down. We've got our inits there. What they say next? Add. Underscore, underscore, add, underscore, underscore. Oh, I need the def up front of it. And then I need opening parentheses. Add adds two matrices together. Well, okay. Think about how we did that on the last one in 4-5. Self and other. If I'm going to add two things, I'm going to return the sum. This next one, what do we have? Def sub let's just do the same thing. Instead of sum, do diff. That defines diff. They're different. Damn it. Come on now. I said little. Alright. This autofill just beat me up, didn't it? And we need a multiplier as well, right? So let's just do the same thing. MUL. And what are we returning? The product, right? Okay. So this is what we're going to have to do. We just got to do the math on these three, if you will. And we think back to the last one we did, it wasn't all that pretty. So on the add part of it, put a new line. What are we doing? No. Returns self and other. This one, go ahead and put a comment in there for that one. And this one will be this. All right. Explaining what we're doing. And how are we going to go about let's think about this. So the sum. If we're adding two matrices together, that's a jump. So if we add two matrices together, our result is a matrix. So I'm going to say sum equals, and what I want is I want to create a matrix. So I'm calling, this is recursion, essentially. I'm going to call this, and I'm going to pass it rows and columns. Rows is self dot get height because it inherited everything from grid, comma, self dot get width. So whatever the height and width are of our existing matrix, and we're going to create another one the same size. Now let's go ahead and navigate the matrix, and we're going to go rows first. Row in range. I want my mouse to be working better. All right. Row in self dot get height. That'll have us walk down row by row. And then I'm going to go column by column for call in range. I want this. That'll walk me across. And what am I going to do in here? Well, I'm going to add these things up. So, sum row call equals that's where sum comes from here. That's our matrix, the new one we created. So the index, if I said, this is where we really start thinking about this like an Excel spreadsheet. So if sum row call, not if, but sum row call equals, and I'm going to say self row, type it the right way, my dyslexia is kicking in, row call plus other row call. All right. You know what? Let's do the same kind of thing down here. I'm going to copy that code. Not being lazy, I'm being efficient. Addition and subtraction aren't that far off, right? So instead of, I'll call it diff, I just subtract. Here I say diff just did the same thing that I did up here, but I just changed the math on it. Can I do the same thing with multiplication? Well, kinda. Not quite the same. So our result is going to be called prod. Let's create a matrix for that. I need to raise an exception. And the way they said it, if they cannot be multiplied, raise an exception. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if self.getWidth is not equivalent to other dot get height. Raise exception, and it's, what do we have here? Matrices cannot be multiplied, right? Quotes. Matrices cannot be multiplied, comma, in correct dimensions. Now, that was the if. I need the else. For I in range, self.getHeight. My keyboard needs new batteries from the looks of it. So for I in range, self.getHeight. We're getting close. We don't have much more to do. That'll walk me down for j in range get width, other dot get width. Let's keep it going. K in range other dot get height, and I need there, there, there. Height, width, and then height again. Next thing is just doing our calculation. So prod I j plus equals self I j. Oops. Self ij. No, it's not ij, it's ik. Because I'm coming down to the third one there. Times other k j. I know it. That's ugly. But multiplying matrices is ugly. This is not something that I want you to have to remember how to do. You got the time and ambition. Let's see if I can find a good link to walk you through it. This is, in a roundabout way, beyond the scope of what we're doing for the next classes you're going to deal with in this bachelor's program. Question I asked early on was, are you going beyond maybe a bachelor's program? Are you going on to university's bachelor's program in computer science, data science, maybe going on to a master's degree, maybe going on to a terminal degree? If so, get familiar with multiplying matrices. Now, with that said, let's go look at this thing. It says I got an error on line 19, and I do. I did not terminate that statement. Let's see where we go now. It says I got an error on line 20. Because I did not tab in that. Go again. Line 27. Man, I didn't tab that in. Go again. Line 27. I didn't. Little things, little housekeeping things I did not do. How many more do I have? Line 38. I didn't spell range correctly. And I have one too many parentheses. No, I don't. I have my parentheses set wrong. What do we got left? Oh, it ran that time. And we've got traceback issues. Because I've got a typo in line 34. H-E-I-G-H-T. Run it again. I know we got 39. Yeah, another typo. Yeah, 39. Oh, come on now. Did you mean get height? Yeah, gotta be a little G. Little things. Now it ran, no errors. Will it test no errors? That would be nice. This one was not one of the prettier ones. So I got one issue, and that's the raises exception issue. Line 19 in their test. 40 mole here, prod ij plus equals self ik times other. What did I do wrong? That's what it should be. While I'm looking, I'm going to go ahead and pause this so you don't have to sit here and wait with me looking. One little thing that it took me a while to catch it. I'm glad I didn't make you wait that long. My issue is right here. This should have been other, and I had it itself. I was comparing the wrong things in that one little line. Or I was creating the matrix on the wrong things on this. So if I run it, does it still run? It still runs. Let's see if it'll run here. It did. I didn't check to see if it would run. I found what appeared to be the error, and it made logical sense that I had to have self and other. This is different than doing addition or subtraction. This is multiplication. This is where it does get ugly. And it's why we want get height and other get width. That's where I picked up what my issue was. When I saw this, I'm like, yep, that's what I did. So that got us there. Like I said, I'm not digging deep into multiplication of matrices. I think we've got two more in this module. I think we go to, I think, number 9. Alright. So, pop out of here and see what we've got. We've got 3 more. We got 4-8 is next. And let's see if you need code before you move ahead. See if you need code for it from that one. And we don't. So I will see you in 4.8.